It's nice to see y'all. So today is such a special day. I wanted to go live to talk to you guys because, okay, first off, I have to figure out how to do this on my phone because I'm a little on the road right now. But, so hopefully you guys can hear me. But, so today is one of those days where you'll remember where you are. Um, like I'll forever remember that I'm right here, right now, as we hear about this decision. But if you live in the United States, like many of our viewers do, then you already know that, or you probably have heard at this point, that the Supreme Court of the United States just ruled in favor of LGBTQ worker protection. So what that means is that before this moment, you could get married according to the 2015 landmark decision by the Supreme Court to get married. And wow, a lot of you are joining in so quickly here. It's less than a minute and so many of you are already watching. But you can get married on a Saturday or Sunday and then get fired from your job on a Monday for being gay or transgender. And a lot of people thought that this protection already existed in the United States. It only existed in, I think, 22 or 23 states in the United States. It did not exist in a majority of them. So here's one of those days where basically on June 26th, 2015, when the federal Supreme Court of the United States passed marriage equality in the landmark decision there, I was up in my room when I found out. And I remember that night just being so excited I started to cry my eyes out. And I ran down the stairs as fast as I possibly could because I was trying to tell someone. But then I realized I wasn't out of the closet yet. And no one knew that I was gay. So why would I be celebrating such a day if I wasn't a part of the LGBTQ community? So I couldn't tell anyone. And I couldn't tell anyone why I was excited, which was the hardest part. That's the hardest part about being in the closet and being so excited about such a great day for America. Like, this is one of the best days of our history, of hundreds of years of history, and I couldn't express that excitement. And if you're not out of the closet right now, we have a whole playlist on help coming out. There's new episodes coming Wednesday on that, by the way. But here's the thing. Then about a year later, as you guys have seen in our recent broadcast for the vigil for the 49, for the Pulse nightclub shooting, on that day, it was the worst day in LGBTQ history in the United States. And again, I cried my eyes out in the corner of my room for a terrible reason now, and I couldn't tell anyone why. But today is the first landmark thing that has happened, and one of those momentous moments where I can celebrate, and I can celebrate with 8,000 of you now. So thank you, by the way, for letting us hit that mark. But I can celebrate as loud as I want to. I mean, right now I'm in a hotel, so I really can't scream. But when I get back to the studio, I'm going to be screaming about this, and I'm going to be so, so excited. On Friday, as you guys have heard, the Trump administration took away protections for LGBTQ people in the medical industry. So in the Affordable Care Act, there was this protection that said doctors have to treat LGBTQ people and they have to help them in crisis. And so what that meant was basically, if you got beaten up for being LGBTQ, you went to the hospital and they had to treat you under that rule. Well, the Trump administration on Friday, the day of the Pulse nightclub shooting anniversary, he took that away. He had it on his desk for over a month, and he took that protection away on Friday. But today, just a couple days later, the United States Supreme Court ruled in favor of LGBTQ on another issue, which actually helps that issue as well. So, what was happening? Well, I'm going to be talking about this more as I get back to the studio. Probably it's tomorrow in the coming days, I'll be back in the studio and recording more stuff for this, which you'll be seeing very, very soon. But in the meantime, what happened, right? So this is such a momentous moment I wanted to share. And by the way, even if you're not out of the closet, remember where you were today. Take mental pictures of everyone that's around you. Take mental pictures of where you are, because you're going to want to remember this moment. I promise you, because I am. And I know how important these moments are. So basically what happened was there were 2 cases on the docket for the Supreme Court. And a gay person was fired from their government job at a county level, I believe. Really, the reports are just coming back from this now, so I'm trying to get as much out as fast as possible, and we'll, again, be talking about this more in the coming days. But there was a worker who was fired from his job for being gay, and he took it all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. And so far, they've been ruling in favor of the government, saying, no, you're allowed to fire someone for being gay. There was also a transgender woman that was fired for being transgender. No other reason. And she took her case I believe it was a transgender woman, took it all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States, and both of those decisions came back today. Now, in the LGBTQ activism world, we thought, maybe one of those would come back in our favor. We thought, because it's a very conservative Supreme Court of the United States right now, because of that, we thought, hey, maybe neither of these will come back in our favor. But today, both of them came back in our favor. But they don't just come back in our favor, they actually help us for a lot more. What a lot of people don't realize is one of the main person who wrote the ruling up was one of Donald Trump's picks for the Supreme Court. He picked him so that way he could stack the deck with conservative people to vote against things like this. And turns out that same Supreme Court justice has now, hold on, I'm getting lag. I know I'm getting lag here. That same Supreme Court justice just ruled in favor of LGBTQ. So he went against Donald Trump's wishes on this, which is the almost coolest part about this. What's even cooler is the fact that, well, after that, how did they actually write the ruling? Because in the ruling, it now says, with the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the gay and transgender person were arguing that in that Civil Rights Act, sex, you shouldn't be able to discriminate based on sex. And sex should be defined as between a man and a woman, between a gay marriage, it should be anywhere, now that gay marriage was legalized. And the trans person was arguing that it should be defined as any gender, too. But what's really cool is that in their ruling, they also defined sex as sexual orientation or gender identity. And you can no longer discriminate on either of them. So what does that mean? Well, it means, first off, that if you work anywhere in America now, you cannot be fired for being gay or trans. You cannot do it. So if your employer finds out that you're gay or trans and then a day or two later fires you, that's illegal according to the U.S. Constitution, and they could be fined or brought on charges now because of the Supreme Court ruling. So that's hella cool. But what's also cool is everything from now on, sex is defined as sexual orientation or gender identity. And that makes the Equality Act a whole lot easier. So the Equality Act is protecting LGBTQ people in every situation in America, in every government agency, in every government building, in every place of employment. It protects you. So it helps that piece of legislation get passed now. And it also helps us pass other pieces of legislation and also vote against the rulings that Donald Trump is making. For instance, that ruling that policy that he enacted on Friday afternoon, well, that policy, if it makes its way to court, which the ACLU has already filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump for that specific policy. Well, if that policy makes its way to any courtroom in America, it doesn't matter how low that courtroom is, because SCOTUS just ruled in favor of LGBTQ people being defined as that word sex on discrimination of the Civil Rights Act. His policy is null and void. His policy is basically gone. His anti-discrimination policy is just done as soon as it hits the courtroom. Also with this, it helps us for other lawsuits across America. There were not just these 2 cases that made their way all the way to the Supreme Court, but there were also hundreds or thousands of cases all across America that made their way to the courtroom at all. Doesn't matter how lower level those courtrooms were. They all made their way. So what happens to them now? Well, the Supreme Court made their decision. That means every lower level court has to go back to that ruling. So that's pretty darn cool. And so that protects every LGBTQ person in so many ways. Now, granted, we still have things to fight for. I've been sort of getting, even though I'm out for the day of the office, I'm still getting some messages from our other heads of different organizations, and basically they're all saying we still have things to fight for at the state levels. There are still medical protections. There are still a bunch of different things that we need to fight for, but at least this helps us massively. This was a huge step in the right direction. This was bigger than the Marriage Equality Day back in June 26, 2015. This was way bigger than that, because that only protected people that wanted to get married as a gay or trans couple. It didn't. What if you were a gay person that never wanted to get married? And a lot of people don't, and that's fine, Just like there are a lot of straight couples that don't want to get married. There are a lot of cisgender couples that don't want to get married. That's fine. But it protected only those that wanted to get married. But now this protects anyone that wants to have a job in America, which is almost every single gay person, almost every single trans person, Anyone that wants to have a job, it now protects you in. It also helps us in other ways. It's just endless. I can go on for hours about this, but I'm sure I'll be talking about it more on the show in future episodes, especially our new show at the end, probably next month, because this month we're trying to do 3 episodes a week this month, and that's incredibly hard to do. On top of trying to do a new show is about a 1.5 to 2 week job for us to make that, because of how much we have to cram in there and how much scripting there needs to be done, how much editing. So that takes about a good 1.5, 2 weeks to do. So that probably won't happen this month, unfortunately. But next month, when we do have that show, we'll definitely be talking about this more in detail, and I'll be able to have it scripted out where it's a lot better than this broadcast might have been. I don't know how this came across. Let me know in the comments if it makes sense. But I tried really hard to come up with something to say today, because I'm so excited, and I just needed to find a quiet little place here where I'm at and just talk to you guys, because this is a day, like I said, you'll want to remember exactly where you are. So take note of that. Whether you're out of the closet or you're in the closet still, that's fine. Remember this moment. I promise you, it is one of those moments you'll never forget, because today's decision just protected you if you live in the United States. A lot, which I think 60% of our viewers live in the United States, from our recent data this month. So if you live in the US, remember this moment. And Troll Gaming says, I live in Canada. Sorry, I'm pretty sure you already have this protection. Canada is 10 steps ahead of the United States on pretty much everything LGBTQ rights wise, so I'm pretty sure you already have this. I know for a fact that Canada has equal protections for LGBTQ people for medical stuff, at least. I don't know about the jobs thing. I'm fairly certain though. But remember this moment. I mean, if you're not out of the closet, we just aired an episode of how to celebrate your pride in the closet today. And on Wednesday, we're going to be airing another episode of coming out tips, 35 tips to help you come out or test the waters on how to come out and how to know if it's okay to come out to those people. But here's the thing. Today is just one of those days. This is way bigger than that day back in 2015 when marriage equality passed. This is way bigger than that. And how can I not celebrate with you guys? Because you're the best, you know? You're the best community I've seen in so long. I'll grant you, tonight I did see a couple homophobes on the channel, like commenting things, because homophobes are not very happy about this decision at all. But you know what? We really don't care about them being happy about this. This protects us from them. So, hey Matt, you're an awesome person. Aw, thank you. So are you. So here's the, like, how can I not celebrate with you? It's such a momentous day. And I've been with my family all day long. So I'm going to remember that I was with them, exactly where I'm at right now. And while I can't tell you right now where I'm at, even though it is exciting to be here, I am with them, and it's really awesome to be with them and to celebrate with them. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say on that for right now. So I guess I'll let you know what's coming up here. So Wednesday we have the coming out, 35 tips to help you come out. On Friday we have another episode on, Friday's episode is really cool because it's an interview with the head of the PA Equality Project, Mr. David Moore. He did an amazing interview with me, and I learned so much, so I know you're going to learn a lot as well. It's a bit of a longer episode, but I highly suggest watching it in full. And then next Monday we'll have the Q&A episode. Crying Kishi says, I'm 10 and I already know I'm bi and it's not a phase. If your parents are saying that it's a phase, they need to watch our channel. We have whole episodes on that. It is not a phase. It is in your DNA from the moment you're born to the moment you die, and you cannot change that. Facts are facts. Science is science. You cannot change science. So if you're out to your parents, then show them this channel. And they'll get advice from experts in the field and not just opinions. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm really sorry to cut it short tonight, but I'm kind of like in the corner of a hotel where I hope no one comes up on me and like ruins the whole broadcast. But I just had to celebrate with you guys because it is such a momentous day for our community, and I needed to talk to you guys about it. I needed to be here with you. In case you're not out of the closet and you still want to celebrate this momentous day for our community, then celebrate in the comments with us. Celebrate in the comments with other like-minded and very kind people. And because I know the LGBTQ community is the most loving and kind community out there in the entire world. So if you cannot run down the stairs and celebrate with someone like I wasn't able to back in 2015, then celebrate with us here on this channel. That's why I created this channel. Some people in the Q&A, by the way, asked us, like, why do I create this channel? How do I get inspired to keep creating episodes? Here's how. That time back in 2015 when I couldn't run down the stairs and celebrate, and many other moments like that in my life where I couldn't tell anyone, I felt like screaming it from the mountaintops that I was gay and that I wanted to support the community, and I couldn't, but now I get to. And it's my responsibility to pass that sense of community, that sense of kindness on to you, and help the next generation come out, help the next generation along so they have it easier than we did in our generation. I know I'm only 27, about to turn 28 on July 3rd, which is like not too far away. I'm getting old, but this is a platform I created to help other people. This is for the community, by the community. So, I mean, I had to get on today because I'm so happy. I've been smiling all day. And honestly, after Friday's policy by Donald Trump, I thought to myself, I was crying because this was stripping away our progress. We finally had progress in America. We were finally making headway, and that was just stripping it away. Today's landmark decision just gave us back everything we lost on Friday tenfold. It gave us back so much more, and it's going to help us with many more pieces of legislation in the coming months. I mean, I'm honestly prepared in the next couple months of this news show. Mark my words, there will be legislation or other rulings in the coming months because of what happened here today. Mark my words on that. And if I was a betting man, I would bet almost every dollar I had on that happening in the coming months. So, look forward to that. Troll Gaming says, just screw him. I don't know. Okay, I get what you're saying. I don't know if I would agree with screwing him, because that means other things. And I don't think anyone, even Melania, wants to do it. I'm sorry. Hey, if he comes after our community's right to live on the day of the worst mass shooting in America for LGBTQ, then I don't really care. So yeah, that's a thing. Finally, something good in 2020. Yes, right? It's been like pandemic. What else do we have? We had like so many things this year go wrong. Like graduations were canceled this year. Everything was canceled. And then, finally we have a win. And better than just a win, we have a win for the LGBTQ. We're one of the very few communities right now that can say we had a win in 2020. I mean, straight people really can't say that right now, can they? Cisgender people can't really say that right now, can they? I love that so much. My mom hates that I'm gay, and she keeps asking me when I'm gonna get a girlfriend, which is annoying. That would be annoying. I'll tell you what, tell her one day, either she stops asking you to get a girlfriend and accepts you being gay, or she's not invited to your wedding with your partner someday. Tell her that. That would cheer her up, I'm sure. Oh, man. Because here's the thing about coming out or your parents being homophobic or anyone. Being who you are and being able to celebrate who you are by coming out, that's a celebration, that's a party. I've compared it many times to throwing your own birthday party, only it's not on your birthday. So you and only you get to decide who's invited to that party, and if someone isn't loving and accepting of who you are and who you love, then don't invite them to that party. Don't allow them to be a part of your life if they're not going to accept that part of you. Just if your parents are homophobic, I'm really sorry. Just stay strong. Know you're not alone. The LGBTQ becomes your family. I'll tell you from experience, even though my dad, my sister, my brother-in-law all love me with their entire heart, they accept me. Actually, where I'm at right now, I've been honestly all day long just looking at a bunch of really hot guys all day long. I mean, I can't tell you where I'm at, but I mean, yeah. Sorry if it's, and sorry if it's lagging. Because it's laggy, I'm gonna step off, and I hope you have a good night, but know that you are loved and you are accepted and you are perfect just the way you are for loving who you love and being who you are. And now the Supreme Court of the United States says, screw Donald Trump. And the Supreme Court says, hey, be who you are. You cannot be fired for being LGBTQ. And I know, stupid lag, right? But before it lags again, which I don't know how good the internet is in this place, but yeah, even though my parents accept me for, well, my dad and my sister and my brother-in-law do, still in all, the LGBTQ becomes my family because they understand that process of coming out. They understand who I am more than my parents or my family will ever. They do understand that process, so they become a second family to you. And if your first family doesn't accept you, then they become your first family. The LGBTQ becomes your first family. So just know that you're not alone. And anyway, have a great night, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for this couple minutes to celebrate such a monumental day for our community. Thank you to the Supreme Court of the United States for telling Donald Trump to screw himself, and for being here for our community to stand up for civil rights for the LGBTQ community. It's again, I say it's horrible to call anything of progress a landmark decision, because nothing should be a landmark decision to rule in favor of basic human rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But, you know, hey, I'll take a win when we can get it. And the fact that LGBTQ are one of the only communities this entire year to get a win so far, I'll take it, you know? But anyway, have a great night, everyone. And please, again, if you cannot celebrate, if you're not out of the closet, or if it's late for you and you can't celebrate and you can't scream it from the mountaintops right now, celebrate in the comments down below, and I'll be responding to as many as I possibly can. Anyway, have a great night, everyone. I love you all, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all for allowing us to hit 8,000 subscribers just this morning, and I will see you all in the coming days as we talk about this evolving story, and as more pieces of legislation are passed because of what happened today, because I promise you they will. More protection is coming for LGBTQ because of what happened here today, so remember this moment. And as always, I'm your host, Matt Haslam. This has been PBR. Have a gay day, everyone. Bye. B-I for now, and see you next time.